Let's get to the title of the show. Brooke Schofield, which we talked about on Monday, was being canceled, which is, I don't know if that's the right word. She's being like heavily criticized, called out. It is ironic that she co-hosts a show called Canceled. Definitely getting ahead of any cancellations.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what do you expect?
When you Google
name of the show,
you Google her name, Brooke Schofield cancel. So, oh no, she just has a podcast. No biggie.
So she put out another apology. She also liked a Trump. I didn't even think that was real, but she actually did like a Trump post, like right after.
Horrible timing.
That kind of. I was like, girl, what the fuck?
And it wasn't an accident.
No,
she addressed it.
No, she didn't say it was an accident. She said I was just mindlessly clicking.
Yeah. No, she says she saw a photo of Trump with the last person that she'd expect to see Trump with. So she was like, haha, so funny.
Yeah, she thought it was goofy. It was a goofy like.
That's
there was also comments.
Really dumb.
I wanted
to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's also comments I wanted to read from last episode of people who are offering insights that I wanted to read. But in the meantime, let's look at her talking about the Trump post she liked, because that happened right the same day. I didn't even believe it. People were saying she did it. I said, there's no way that's true. There's no way that she would go like a Trump post. It's inconceivable. But she did actually do it.
Okay, before this gets any further, I have publicly stated my support for Kamala since she's been in the running, okay? And I still stand behind that. I know how stupid it looks that I liked that post today, and I literally want to kick myself in the fucking face for it. But it was like mindless. I literally was on an airplane scrolling. I saw the last person in the entire world that I would think would be in the room with Trump. So I was like, this is crazy. And I liked the post. Worst timing ever. So fucking stupid.
Okay, yeah.
Not a Trump supporter. Okay, period. I am not a Trump supporter.
So this comes back now. If we're gonna draw the red strings on our conspiracy billboard, Dan was making a point. You were kept saying, because she said that one tweet that she faked having liberal values.
Yeah. Yeah, I kept saying that was the worst one, because it will.
Well, check this one out.
Forever follow her.
This one is interesting. I'll say that. I'll say it.
Let's see.
So how things like socioeconomic standing, health, housing, income, and so many other things can be affected by your race.
Loud. I started faking liberal views when writing college papers. And it's so concerning how much my grades have improved since.
Ooh, that one's pretty bad.
That's like, nah.
That's just dumb. Like, that's for sure not true, by the way. She's like, oh,
but also it just
seems like a really good liberal. I'm gonna give him an A.
Yeah, and also maybe whatever the right's opinion on something might just be complete bullshit. So
she's like, I stopped writing racism. I stopped writing racist jokes about black people.
I stopped writing.
And my teachers really like me a lot more now.
Writing ignorant shit, and my grades improved. It's crazy.
So again,
I wrote my college thesis on racial disparities.
She tweeted in college like, I'm faking liberal. So,
yeah,
that's a rough one.
And then to bust that out is like evidence of you being an ally.
Yeah, it's like think about it. That's gonna make you sound sillier.
This is pretty bad.
Imagine writing your college thesis cynically about like black.
And having all the data.
Crazy thing to do.
Literally having the data in front of you. You're writing about it.
Right. Very convincingly.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is all bullshit.
Yep. What?
There were some comments from black audience members who obviously, we aren't black.
That may come as a shock.
Shout out Dan.
To the audio. That may come as a shock to the audio listeners.
I was trying to. We're not black, right, Dan?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You became a black person.
Just to be.
I love that soundbite. So I wanted to anyway give them representation because their voice is important. So I'll read a few here. This one is from, here, let me open it so you guys can read along with me. The issue you guys failed to understand is that, sure, she can change, good on her, whatever, but the main issue and conversation that started is how normalized it is for white influencers to have a racist past phase as if that is normal. Why is it so normalized for them to get a pass because they're young and didn't know better? Mind you, 16 and 19 is not that young to not know better. But minorities have to always be the ones to grow up early and deal with it. The Trayvon Martin tweets were so disgusting. Black children as young as 6, 8, 12 could understand the gravity of the situation, but oh, please, she's young, she gets a pass. Also, her apology was garbage overall. This quote puts this convo into perspective. While you educated yourself about unlearning racism, a POC kid was unlearning the hate you instilled in them. By Black Swan on top. Black Swan on top. Here's another one.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
Very
fair.
good point.
For sure. I mean,
People
yeah.
making excuses saying these people are very young when they tweet out these things. It's like the people on the receiving end were also young. Like the people that your racism is targeted at, I'm sure when you were in school, and like I'm sure it caused some damage.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a very, very good point.
I think honestly, people go, "Oh, what's with young kids being racist?" I genuinely think that, like, she goes, "What's with young people? Like, is that normal?" And I think, like, to an extent,
so.
back like in the '80s, I feel like people were still more racist.
I wasn't there.
Like now, this new generation is definitely way less racist and more woke about like the stuff they say. So, like, I do think there's been a change in the culture.
Yeah, and I mean, they obviously.
Not defending her, I'm just
different
saying.
places have different cultures about it. Like, I grew up here in Los Angeles. I have pretty progressive parents and everything. And I remember from a really young age, really young age, like, in elementary school and like when I was like 8 or 9 years old, being told emphatically that, the N-word is like one of the worst things in the world you could call somebody, especially a black person. You should never do that. Mm-hmm. Like, that was like taught to me. Now, that is in Los Angeles with like progressive parents, you know what I mean? In the 80s and 90s, I think in a lot of places in the country, a lot of people, maybe Brooke is one of them. I don't know anything about Brooke, you know what I mean? But
I'm not even talking about her. I'm just
in general.
About, like,
yes, I think that, there was sort of like a learned racism for a lot of white kids.
Well, in the 80s, Jim Crow was only like 20 years before that.
Right, exactly. Like those parents grew up with that. So it's not exactly universal, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The lived experience of people growing up.
Sure, yeah. Obviously, a lot depends on where you grow up.
Yeah.
But I do think there's been forward movement in terms, and again, I'm speaking as a white person, so I don't really know, but it seems to me like young kids today wouldn't be making jokes like that, I think, but right?
Yeah,
we're not
I
young
hope
kids.
not.
I don't know.
It could be like the democratization of the internet where people are more exposed to different opinions and people and stuff.
I play a lot of video games, and I can say from obviously you interact with a lot, let's say Call of Duty, voice enabled games. There's a shit ton of racism on there still.
Yeah,
from
that's true.
Young squeakers who like sound like they're 8 to 15. From that angle, I don't see any difference from now and when I was younger and playing. It's horrible.
Gamers are
gamers are a different breed.
That's
why we call them gamer moments, my friend.
For real.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is concerning. The sexism, the homophobia, and the racism in the voice games is nuts.
Yeah, and sometimes I go, like I played Overwatch for a while. Not as much racism there. And then when I go back to Call of Duty, I think things have changed. I was like, wow, we've come so far. No, still as bad. It's like nothing has changed on Call of Duty. Yeah. So,
Duty. Yes, that's true.
Just a
true.
different perspective, though.
Carnivore
Here's
diet will
another
fix
one
that.
from. Let me open this one.
All those cosplayers just gonna try the carnivore diet. Fix racism
Chica.
forever.
Carnivore diet will fix that.
Yeah, it's a good point. Chica Goss Penguin.
Chicago baby penguin 18.
Chica.
Well, you
Like,
could
there's
read it
no
that way.
space. How do you know it's not Chica Gaz?
penguin?
How do you know it's not
Gosby.
Gosb? Chica Gosb Penguin 18, bro. She says, Ethan's perspective is definitely clouded because he sees himself in these canceled racist people. Since he himself has to apologize every once in a while for what he did in his past, he wants to preach that everyone should just let the past die. Dan is right about the Brooke tweet that faking about liberal, woke, or whatever to get ahead. There's no way of knowing if she's being honest now. She's labored herself
Yeah.
as someone who cannot be trusted on face value. Also, she's still actively liking Trump posts even today. I read that and I was like, no way. Like, that can't be true. That has to be an exaggeration. But
It just
it
seems
is,
so mind-blowingly stupid.
it is true. She
I
did.
guess by her own admission, it was.
Yeah. And Tana as well. It hasn't even been 48 hours since her apology video, and Brooke is already liking tweets, posts, etc. Also, it's hypocritical for Tana and Brooke to use the she was 18, young, dumb, in college excuse when they have actively attacked and sent their fans to hate on other young women, such as Alabama Barker, Travis Barker's daughter, when she was just 17. It's giving white women.
Oh, I've served her at California Pizza Kitchen.
She went
I used to
viral.
work there.
Oh, really?
Alabama Barker?
Yeah, I believe so. He used to come in with his daughter,
Wait, Travis Barker? Wait, who's
Travis
Travis
Barker.
Barker?
the drummer for Blink-182.
Oh, so what did they say? They sent their fans to hate on other
Sorry,
young women. So
saw an opening there. I had to interject.
So what did Okay, so
It
Alabama.
was frivolous drama. It was like she unfollowed her, like said something maybe nasty, and then she was called out on the podcast.
Okay.
For it.
And when she was just 17, it's giving white women tears of justice for me and not thee. Ethan knowingly is understating what Brooke did and continues to do in order to stay cool with Tana. But the reality is, it is not for him to give his opinion on whether or not the canceling is justified, because the derogatory comments and hatred is not directed at him. Even her being pro-Trump will not and does not affect him. If Trump gets elected, Ethan, a white man from California, will be fine. Okay. I don't think I was actively running defense for her. I don't know why I was getting like defensive for some reason about her. Potentially because it's possible that I see myself that I've been through a similar thing. You know what I mean? I feel like
they
I
point
came
that
out the
I
other
think
side.
that's probably fair. Like, yeah.
But I don't. I kind of like. Obviously, I understand what you're saying, but I don't believe I'm. What did she say? Actively running defense for her so that I can be cool with Tana. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck what, and I'm not invested in the welfare of her. I don't know. I don't know why I was getting so defensive about it, though. It's probably has something to do with the first thing they mentioned more than anything. But,
why am I still getting hate?
but yeah, I mean, everyone's different, and all the situations are different. So, you know. But yeah, I fully acknowledge that it's not my place to forgive. To make that proclamation that they're like forgiven or something. You know what I mean? For sure. For sure. So thank you, Chica. Thank you,
Chicago
Chica
baby
Gosbing.
18.
Thank you, Chica Gosb Begin Jin 18.
And there was one more in here, and this one I saw that you liked. Really, you gave it the official little heart.
I was okay.
Next to
Let's
the
take a
comment.
look. Yes, I did. I was responding to some of them too. Like, oh,
Yes.
was this the one where she explains?
You replied to this one.
I said it was like the Da Vinci Code of racism. Yeah,
You
this
did.
because we were trying to figure out the exact like point of the gorilla with the graduation cap. I knew it was like racist, but I
Yeah.
didn't understand all the like deep level layers of racism.
Okay,
And
and gonna
this
decode that.
she was able to decode this for us.
Okay.
So she says, "Happy Monday, family. H3 Black correspondent checking in once again." Shout out. That
Queen.
that is now an official title for
Kirsten Michelle.
Kirsten. We love that about you. Thank you. On a fresh rewatch of the live, just wanted to chime in about the tweet mentioned at this time. Read Brooke Schofield. It was mentioned in the chat, but I want to highlight here why this tweet is so bad. In my opinion, the worst of all of them. The context of the tweet is that it does reference the Mike Brown murder in Ferguson and 14. As we saw, most media outlets during this time hyper-focused on the wrongdoings of the victim of lethal police violence, with the implication being that the victim somehow deserved their untimely death at the hands of the state. This primarily happens when using mugshots as standard pictures of victims, labeling teens as men and women, and talking at length about the victim's previous run-ins with the criminal justice system before their murder. To counteract this and to highlight the covert racism of the media's handling of this story, Black Twitter advocates and activists used Mike Brown's high school graduation photo to dignify him.
I remember saying that all the time.
And show him in a more positive light. With that in mind, the tweet is posted just days after the gorilla Harambe is shot for violently grabbing a young child that climbed into his enclosure. Adding a graduation cap to Harambe and labeling it as the photo CNN doesn't want you to see makes a joke at the advocacy.
It's all clicking for me. I get it now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Makes a joke at the advocacy previously mentioned and implies that Harambe being killed to maintain control over a potentially dangerous situation and the unjustified murder of marginalized people by police officers are the same. Not to mention the old-timey racism of comparing black people to monkey and apes. That's like, I was like, yo, that is like, fuck. I commented. What was it? What did I say?
You commented back saying, "Holy smokes, that image is the Da Vinci Code of racism."
It is. There's like
It
deep,
is.
deep lore, bro.
Really, really disturbing.
She continues, ultimately, all of the tweets are horrible and deserve to be addressed. As a black person who believes in rehabilitation over criminalization, I also feel so apathetic to white creators apologizing for being racist. Brooke deserves the opportunity to show people through her words and actions that she's changed, more educated and more empathetic. But I also don't care about Brooke enough to witness it happen. Thanks for reading. Have a great week. I thought this was a great, I really liked this comment, and I respect, and I like all the comments, but this one I thought was,
well, they decoded it.
yeah,
So
I
we
mean,
do
that was,
appreciate that.
that was interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
And yeah, that is that. I said the I faked liberal views in college was the worst one. That one's the worst one.
This one is worse.
That
When you
one is
understand
definitely
it.
the worst one.
You need to go to like school for racism to figure all that out.
Yeah.
That's intense, man.
Well, just the context in which it was tweeted was essential. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So there that is.
Stuff.
So thank you very much to our official black correspondent, Kirsten
Michelle. Thank you.
Thank
Love
you
you,
very much
Kirsten.
for that. Appreciate it. And then there was, I guess there was a lot, but those are the ones that I just wanted to highlight to share some black voices, to give a more holistic experience. Annette.
She became a black person.
Just to be
Yeah, there it is.
So she apologized, right?
So now we're moving. Yeah, so now we have more to watch. So she put out after her first apology, I feel like there was a very mixed reaction. Now, I mean, my reaction was like, because again, she made these really like good comments in 2020, but
that she
after
may not have
reading-
been faking.
yeah, after reading some of the comments after, I felt like I had more insight, into
Sure.
the people who were not forgiving her.
Yeah.
And so obviously there was a mixed reception there. So let's see. Brooke puts out another apology. So let's see if she clears things up. Let's see.
You guys, I want to talk about my last video, okay? Because I am listening to everybody, and obviously I am reflecting and looking back on it, and I do agree with everyone that I missed the mark. I obviously saw everything that was going on, and I saw how hurt everybody was.
Oh no, Logan! It's giving Logan.
No,
Paul.
Dobrik.
Missed the mark on that one.
I missed the mark
with that one.
Yep.
We got to take that out of the apology video.
No.
Let me hear that again.
Not a good
you got to
start.
pull that, Zach.
I obviously saw everything that was going on, and I saw how hurt everybody was by it, so I felt like I just had to put something out as soon as I physically could so that nobody thought I was ignoring the situation or didn't realize how important it was. But as a result of that, I put out this very emotional, scrambled video where I essentially made none of the points that I should have been making. First and obviously most important thing is that I'm so
Yeah.
Cute cat.
She just got that cat.
Manipulative.
Nice try. Yeah.
She just got that cat?
She did just get that.
For this video?
No, girl, it was before.
Okay.
I think.
You have the morals of an alley cat.
Was it before or
That was a cute
after
cat,
the
though.
2020 tweets?
Can we go one episode without talking about fucking cats?
True, I know. I know, it's a problem. But that was cute. Look at this cute cat. Where did she come from?
Sweet kitty.
Obviously, I'm seeing a lot of positivity in the comments and people saying that they forgive me, and it's all white people. And that's how I know I did not address this properly at
That's
all.
a good point.
So I want to be clear that this is directed specifically to black people and other people of color, and I'm not seeking white people's understanding or forgiveness, approval, or whatever it is. Now, sorry is not enough, in my opinion, for the way that I was tweeting and the things that I was saying online at that time. And I know that there's no apology beyond reparations that can mend that wound. I don't care if I was a teenager, I was old enough to know better, and not only did I choose to say those things, I chose to say those things on a public platform, and I am very, very ashamed of it. Especially sorry to those who were affected in real time, because keep in mind, I had friends and family who were following me at that time and would have been hurt by those tweets, and I feel sick over that. The tweets were racist, okay? There's no getting around that. They cannot be dismissed as jokes or political opinions or anything else. It was racism. In my last video, I put all this emphasis on my family thinking it was gonna provide context, but instead it just made it look like I was pointing fingers and placing blame, and that was exactly the opposite of what I should have been doing. The fact of the matter is nobody forced me to tweet those things. I tweeted those things on my own, and the blame is on me. A conscious choice to not learn about politics until I was a young adult. But that did not stop me from tweeting political opinions. I wanted to appear that I knew more than I did and that I was educated, and instead I was spreading harmful, very, very harmful misinformation. I had all the educational resources available to me to learn what was right, and I chose not to. However, the murder of Trayvon Martin has nothing to do with politics, okay? The murder of Trayvon Martin was a hate crime. It was horrible, and he did not deserve it, and no black person deserves it. When it happened, I repeated disgusting misinformation on a public platform, and I'm genuinely so disturbed by that. I truly cannot believe it. It makes me sick, truly sick to think about it now. Now, I mentioned in my last video how I didn't really open my eyes until after college, but I want to make it clear that when I say that, I'm referring to hate crimes in particular. It wasn't until after college that I realized how prevalent police brutality is and how common hate crimes are. It's constantly happening. I think a lot of people felt this way, but the murder of George Floyd shifted my mindset completely, okay? Because that's when I started to really research and learn what it was like and what it looked like to be anti-racist. I started to seek out my own resources and learn what reparations looked like and learn what I could do as a white person in situations like these. And I'm really, truly ashamed that it took me that long. I talked in my last video about how I grew up in a Republican household. And I didn't say that because I think all Republicans are racist, but I just wanted you to know that those are the only conversations that I had been exposed to. But then I went off to college, okay?
I mean, at this point, in 2024,
There's a certain
you got to
lack
be a
of empathy.
little bit
You
racist.
could say majority.
Republican. I would think I could comfortably say the
Just
majority.
all of them.
I mean, if you're voting for Trump at this point,
Didn't you hear
the-
Trump? He's the
the
greatest
jury isn't
president.
really
Hold
out
on,
anymore,
Dan.
you know?
You did not hear him. He is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln for blacks.
I did hear him say that, and that's actually part of the reason that I'm saying this.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. That's a good point.
And I went to college in Arizona, which is still a red state, but Arizona is also a state with a lot of diversity. And I was a public health major, where so many elements have to do with race and racial inequality. I learned so much during that time, you guys. It was actually really eye-opening for me because I had a lot of thoughts my entire life that completely shifted once I started to learn like things from other people's perspectives. So much of what I previously had believed to be true changed, and I started paying attention to things that I hadn't before.
Carnivore diet.
And I acknowledge that I was an adult at this time, and I had all the resources in the world available to me to educate myself prior to college, and I chose not to, and for that I am sorry. Really, really wish that I had. I wrote my college thesis on racial disparities, so how things like socioeconomic standing, health,
Right, so
housing,
this was the clip from...
income, and so
Right. Which she kind of undermines herself pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
many other things can be affected by your race. I didn't stop learning there, and I don't plan to stop learning about these issues ever. I truly mean that, and I know a lot of you aren't going to believe me, and I understand that, but I do care about these issues. But I don't want this conversation to be over, honestly. I'm not posting this video to make everything go away. I don't want to try to get myself uncanceled, but I know there are a lot of people like me who are still working to unlearn the inherent racism that we possess still. While I know that I've changed, I also know that there is a lot of work to be done, okay? There is a lot that I could still do that I have not done yet. I promise you that I will. I have been and will continue to look into reparation initiatives to share with you guys, as well as figure out ways that we can give Black creators more visibility, because we know that's a major problem in this space. I want to do everything that I can to show you that I am not the person that I was in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. I am not. I understand that there are people who are never going to forgive me, and I do not fault you for that at all. At all. But I truly am so sorry. I am sorry for the words that I said. I am sorry for my racist past. I am sorry for the people that I hurt. And I want to do everything I can to earn back your trust, because it really is very important to me.
We need our Black correspondent to share her thoughts.
Down in the comments below. Share your thoughts
Not
down
an
in the comments
apology.
below. I mean, the first half of that was like pretty strong, I would say, as an apology. I'm going to rate this as Sig Heil in Seattle would. You know what I mean? Just in terms of like, there was a lot of just like no excuses. I did these things. I'm ashamed. I was wrong. You know what I mean? A lot of jump cuts, which,
right?
Not everybody can smoothly talk for an extended period of time. So I don't want to deduct too many points for that, but it always makes it feel less genuine when it's edited. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, as soon as she veers off into like her journey to not being a racist piece of shit, the whole like college thesis thing, when one of the tweets that you're getting canceled for is lying in college about your beliefs, probably shouldn't have mentioned that.
That was
probably
not
should have
good.
just not
That was
mentioned
not
that part.
good.
Yeah, that
I did
kind of took a
feel-
nosedive after that point.
Yeah.
She also said that the George Floyd thing changed her mind. That was like in 2020. Like 4
No,
years
she
ago?
did. No, the opposite, right, Nate? No, she said the George Floyd thing was when she started.
But I'm
to,
saying that was so recent.
yeah, I mean,
2020. Well, that's when her supportive tweets started
right
appearing. So I think it was that. Was that recent? Yeah, I mean, it was 4 years ago. Obviously. pretty
Dave
recent.
just donated 10 pounds and said, "I didn't see the apology. Please, could you rewind it?"
Oh Jesus! You know
All right,
you
let's
have
take it
that
from the top.
ability as well. You can
Take it from the top for Dave.
You can rewind it. All right, fuck it. For Dave, I'll do it. Let's go back.
No.
Anything for you, Dave? Nope. Yeah. I don't know what to say or think about it, frankly. Hopefully, she's being genuine, and I guess we'll see.
I think that's fair
going
to say.
forward.
I also hope.
And hopefully
she's
she is,
being
and if she is, I think it's good. You know that she's.
I guess only time will tell.
That is
and,
very
Trying
true.
to
and as it
grow.
was aptly put in those comments, you know, it's we were not on the receiving end of the horrible thing she said, so not really up to us anyways, you know.
I could say I think it's good. Can I?
Huh?
I think it's good that she's trying. If she's being authentic,
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. If she's being authentic, then yeah, of course.
then it's good.
We want less racism in the world,
Yeah.
not more. Like we should be welcoming of that.
Yeah.
If she continues to completely diverge from the self we saw on Twitter, then good.
Then that's great, and we love that.
Yep.
Do we forgive her? That's not up to me.
Right.
That's a different question.